My name is Aaron Rosenzweig. I live on 1 Thorburn Road with Yardbirds. I'm part of TeamGaithersburg.org. Our City Council publicly supports the CCT, the Cross Corridors Transitway, also known as the BRT, which means Bus Rapid Transit. Those are confusing words for a very simple concept. Our city supports the county's dream of a poor man's metro system, which will extend the real metro station at Shady Grove and connect Clarksburg. Because the real metro train takes real money and planning, the county wants to widen our roads and use buses instead of trains. Reasonable neighbors point to the ride-on bus system, which is hardly utilized and already covers most of the CCT. Reasonable neighbors question the intelligence of adding traffic lights to Muddy Branch and Great Seneca Highway. Reasonable neighbors question the wisdom of high-speed buses weaving in and out of traffic as they get to the fast lane. Reasonable neighbors wonder why we are expected to raise our taxes to fund the CCT instead of spending the money to fix our overcrowded schools. City Council, you have reasons for supporting the CCT, like new jobs, new growth, and new people to tax, especially after you convert Billboard Farm into an office space. Fine, there is a grain of truth to that which I cannot deny. What I cannot fathom, what I cannot accept, is your exuberance in throwing individual citizens under the bus. I watched in amazement as you publicly spoke of only one home in Gaithersburg that would be taken by eminent domain. Only is the key word here, as if it is insignificant. Do you even know who lives in that home? Did you visit them to at least express your concern? Do you know what they look like? Do you know their name? I know Mr. John. He is right here. You would be an excellent council if we had nobody living here. You simply refuse to take care of our neighbors, even when it is so easy to do so. If you only had a heart, you would learn, as I have, that this man wants to retire. How can he? You want to level his home to make the CCT. Fine, but do not mess with this man's life. Don't tell him you'll take his home in 2016. Oh no, 2018. Oh no, maybe in 2020. Whenever you get the money to build the CCT instead of our schools. Nobody will buy his home in this situation. He is stuck. Would the council knock on Mr. Jong's door? Would you get to know him? Would you make an honest attempt to answer his questions and help him plan for his future? If our city is too large, too busy to take this simple act of kindness, then our city has grown too large. We have sacrificed character for greed. When we have the ability to make things better yet refuse, it is inexcusable. Are we not our brother's keeper? Is not Mr. Jong a neighbor in good standing? No citizen should be left behind in a wealthy city like Gaithersburg. In times like these, if character counts, fish or cut bait.
Thank you. Nick would like to be the next speaker.
Any comments? Anything, Ryan?
I already commented in that I'm asking for the next speaker. Darlene.
Hi, Darlene Belzacarelli, 307 Woodland Road.
Darlene, if you can grab the microphone just...
Yep.
There you go.
Happy holidays, everybody. On December 12th, I met with a bunch of neighbors at my home for tea. And one of the things that we decided is that since this is a meeting that's too late for all of them to come, it's too late, they got children, they got things to do, that I would actually do the speaking on their behalf. And from that meeting, 4 things came up. One, that Gaithersburg is a care-to-count city. You guys pimp this out. That's the language of the land. But you guys got to honor it, too. Oftentimes, people are engaged in the city, engaged with rudeness. And that was the number one thing that people were saying, that somehow we've grown too big for our britches, and talking to people with respect and dignity is just something that we just don't do anymore. Contempt has replaced community. That was the one phrase that I wish I had thought of, but I didn't think of it. Fiscal responsible. We never have enough money to do the things we need to do, but we seem to come up with the money to do the things we want to do. Like, for example, moving this chamber across the street. Well, we don't have the money for that. If you don't have the money to repair the roads, fix the lampposts, fix the Frederick Avenue, then you shouldn't come up spending money for this kind of stuff either. Community engagement. Since you don't have the money for the things we need to do, and you shouldn't be moving this from, you should really put in translation of community information so equipment, so the diverse population that we constantly talk about can actually participate. I priced it out. It's only $2,000 for 25 headsets and a translation unit, so that all the people in this community, the 72% Latinos, can come to these meetings and participate. So if you guys can't find the money to do the things we want to do, then you shouldn't do the things you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Who'd like to be the next speaker? Not seeing anyone. I will.
Thank you. I just want to make a procedural note for a variety of reasons. It is the practice of our mayor and council during our formal meetings not to respond to every individual public comment that is provided during our public comment period. We, of course, listen to all of them, pay attention to all of them, and follow up as appropriate, but procedurally it would be very difficult. I think it would create a lot of challenges if we were trying to respond right here on the spot without an opportunity to collect our thoughts or develop plans to every suggestion that is posed by a member of the public. So I think folks should keep that in mind when they come and offer their public comments, which we're happy to listen to. But we have our, from the mayor and council, we have our other processes in place to develop our responses to public inquiry, and we're happy to go through those processes, but I think folks should remember that.
Just to respond to some of the comments that were made, I've been working hard on regional transportation issues and looking at school capacity issues and things like that, as have we all. I think it's become very clear that one of the core issues is there's simply not enough money being allocated to pay for building the stuff that we need to keep up with transportation, with school capacity, and so on. And in talking to people at MCPS, I think part of what's happened is they basically asked for what they think they can get as opposed to asking for what they really need. And looking at transportation, I think there's a lot of the same things going on. So what I'm spending a fair amount of time on is asking the different groups what the number is really. And we had Bruce Crispell from MCPS here a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him that question. There's some number that we need to ask for as a region, and either we're going to get it or we're not going to get it. But if we don't ask, we're definitely not going to get it. And we need to be able to unclog our roads and uncrowd our schools. And I think that's going to be a very important project that will affect us in Gaithersburg. Here in Gaithersburg, we can't fix those problems directly. We don't have the kind of money that it takes to do that. Those are hundreds of millions of dollars worth of problems, and I don't think we want to raise everybody's taxes 10 times here. But I think that there's probably a road to get there, and that's going to be make for a very interesting year next year.